Hey, so a number of people have been asking about is it okay to use I in a Rogerian essay? And I just want to touch on that briefly and kind of go over this whole idea of using first and second person in academic writing. So the short answer is yeah, sure, if it works. The longer answer. So the reason you've been taught not to use first and second person in your academic writing it is a good default. Like, it isn't wrong to have been taught that. When in doubt, don't. And the reason for that is it usually just dismantles the clarity and formality of what you're saying. When you start talking about I and you lapse into a conversational tone. You start to forget about proper structure. It's just one of those things, and it winds up destroying the ethos of your argument because it doesn't sound like you're the sort of a vessel of knowledge. It sounds like it's just you spouting off your half-baked thoughts. And so you eliminate that. Now, what ends up happening a lot of the time, of course, is people write I and you, and then they just replace it with one, and it winds up sounding like an alien trying to mimic human speech, right? When one gets up in the morning, one barely has time to brush their teeth. It's like it's bizarre nonsense. So that's the reason, and it is a good default setting. But as you have probably noticed, when you read professional writing, it has first and second person all over it. So that's where it comes back to the only actual rule, and I know I've said this a million times, the only actual rule of writing is if it works, it works. That's it. That's rhetoric. That's the essence of rhetoric right there, is thinking about your audience. When is an emoji going to work? When is talking to somebody directly going to work? And so that's the critical assessment you're making. If I include myself in this essay, is that going to make the argument stronger because it humanizes it, or is it going to make it weaker because it just sounds like me giving a random opinion? That kind of thing. Same thing with you. Is there a reason to talk directly to your audience, to get them personally connected? Sometimes yes, and you would think always, but the fact is a lot of the times you want it to sound more as a presentation of an argument, and especially when it's persuasive, a lot of times the you turns it into an attack. And that's the danger in Rogerian, is if it's done wrong, it's saying you're doing this wrong and you're doing that wrong, so do it like me because I'm always right. That's how it can sound in any academic writing. All right, so the reason then why it's more common in Rogerian, because Rogerian lends itself to using first and second person, because Rogerian argument is based in human connection and empathy. It's based in saying, here's how you feel. I feel that way too. I also feel this way, which I'm sure you can agree with. That's the essence of it. And the question becomes, is it going to make more sense to actually say that, or to frame the conversation almost as if you were saying it? Many people feel this way, and that totally makes sense, just as this also makes sense. Right? Both are perfectly legitimate structures. So the longer answer for this essay, for a Rogerian argument, is if it feels like this is going to be more effective, if I am the author talking directly to the audience, sure, do that. If it just doesn't sound right to you or feel right, then don't. But again, the use of first and second person in academic writing is something that is based on the critical assessment. And that's the skill you're trying to develop in terms of rhetoric, is the ability to determine in what circumstances is a certain type of writing and argumentation most effective. All right, let me know what other questions you have, and if I can clarify any more with that.